Hello, 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 guys, and welcome to the Pokemon Colosseum bonus video. Now, if you don't know what this is, I'm going to make a tier list of every single obtainable Pokemon in the game. This is going to be strictly opinion-based. I'm going to try to use, mostly facts, but a lot of it's going to be just my general opinion of the Pokemon. I'm going to take things into consideration like when you get it, how many Pokemon can do the same exact thing that it can do, or if Pokemon can do what it does better and just overall how I think it plays into the main game. This is going to be kind of a lengthy video, so I am going to try to go as quickly as possible through these guys. Obviously, if I have something to say about the Pokemon, I'm going to, I'm going to talk my talk. But for more often than not, I'm going to try to briskly get through these things. If it's obviously a Banff, it's going to be a Banff. If it's going to be a trash Pokemon, it's going to be a trash Pokemon. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's start with Espeon. Now, Espeon, it's S tier. You get this at the beginning of the game, so you can use it for your whole adventure. It is one of the best special sweepers in Pokemon, especially up to 3rd generation. It has, I believe, a 135 special attack and like a 110 speed. I'm gonna be putting up all the bios, by the way. I'm sure you guys already see that for all the Pokemon. So you guys will be able to really see exactly what the stats are. And just all in all, Espeon's really good. Gets Confusion, gets Psybeam, gets Psychic. That's really all you need from it. You can teach it Shadow Ball for coverage, give it Reflect for a little support move. But all in all, you're just going to be Psychic blasting these things. Next up is Umbreon. Now, if you have no shame of using items, it's S tier. If you're not really spamming items, if you're using, let's say, one item, one item a battle, I'm going to put it down to A tier. Now, Umbreon is extremely tanky. 110 special or 110 defense, 130 special defense. It has a weakness to fighting and it has a weakness to bug. You really don't have to worry about either of these weaknesses because there's virtually no bug moves in the game. You might get hit with a few signal beams here and there. And same thing with fighting. There isn't a whole ton of fighting Pokemon, especially with the bosses. A lot of the bosses don't carry fighting Pokemon or fighting types. This thing's going to be a constant tank. It's going to bite. It's going to toxic. It's going to confuse Ray. Yes, the set is pretty basic, but it does what it does really good. Hariyama. I'm gonna give it A tier. I'm gonna give it B tier. I'm gonna give it B tier. If you do the belly drum combo that I've said multiple times, yes, this thing can be an absolute powerhouse. It's a pretty good, strong Pokemon anyway. It has guts. You toxic it. It has 1.5 boosted attack. Or if you have thick fat, you have a Pokemon that resists fire and ice on top of the types it already resists. It has a butt ton of HP. It has a crap load of attack. You can get Brick Break pretty early on, too, to where it's going to have a reliable move. It has Cross Chop and Vital Throw till then, and Vital Throw is not even bad because you're going to end up going last 9 times out of 10 anyway. The only thing I really don't like about this thing is it's strictly a fighting Pokemon. You can give it Earthquake late in the game, but you're really just getting a strong physical attacker out of it, not much coverage, which is why I give it the B ranking. Alright, the Johto starters. Let's start with the one I used in the playthrough, Quilava. I'm gonna be honest, Quilava's B tier. Going through the game, I realized that, yes, it's nice to have a fire type, but it's not really needed in the game at all. And if you think about it, a lot of the bosses wall off fire types really good. Meyer Beef walls off fire types. Dakem Rex fire types. Ian has quite a few options against fire types. And even the harder battles, I mean, besides that Scizor, you really don't have an over-dying use for Typhlosion. As a Pokemon, it's very good. It has a very high special attack, has pretty balanced stats altogether. If it got Flamethrower earlier, I feel like it would be a better Pokemon. It's really unfortunate you have to rely on Flame Wheel and Fire Blast. But all in all, if you're looking for a fire type, it's probably the best thing you're going to get unless you use Entei. Alright, let's talk about Croconaw. I'm going to be honest. I think Croconaw is A tier. Yes, there are a lot of good water types in this game. There is a lot of good water types early on in this game, and Croconaw being mostly a physical attacker, it kind of hurts it, but at the same time, its special attack is good enough to make use of Surf, Bite, and eventually Crunch. You can give it Brick Break, you can give it Earthquake. If you give it the moveset of Surf, Crunch, Brick Break, and Earthquake, you have a very, very strong all-around Pokemon that has pretty good defenses, enough speed to outspeed a lot of things, enough HP to take a few hits, and just overall, it's going to be able to do something against almost every single Pokemon in every single battle. Also, I believe Water type itself is the strongest type in the game. Defensively, it has two weaknesses, Electric and Grass. I don't know why I wanted to say everything but Electric. It has Electric and Grass weaknesses, but you could build around that very easily, very easily. I definitely think Feraligatr is really good. It's just the abundance of water types makes you kind of want to shy away from it. Now, this, I want to put it in A tier, to be honest with you. But it's going to go in the top of B tier. Now, I'm putting it here because there's really not many good grass types in this game at all. At all. But you get this. You get this with Razor Leaf. You go the Sunny Day combo with your team. You can make this thing do very good things. Very good things. Razor Leaf is a weaker version of Surf. You can give it Solar Beam. You can give it Ingrain. I forgot if it gets Reflect or Light Screen. It gets one of the two moves, so it could be a good support. If you're looking for a grass type, it's literally your only option because we'll get to this when we get to this. But if you're looking for grass type, it's really the only option, but it's not going to make or break your team, in my opinion. It's going to be a solid member of your team, but I think it's going to be a solid third or fourth member of your team. All right. Next, I forgot the exact order, but we're going to go with Flaffy first. We're going to put him in A, and I'm actually going to put him at the top of A. I think Ampharos is a fantastic Pokemon. It's one of my favorites, so this might be a little biased. But once this thing is purified, it's going to evolve. It's going to get Thunderbolt right off rip, which is actually insane with the 115 special attack it gets. Yes, the speed is slow, but as you saw, I used Click Claw in the game, and it activated more times than it didn't. Also, in a game like this, Thunder Wave... No. You know, I'm gonna put it in S, but I might change that later. Thunder Wave is essential for these games when you're snagging Shadow Pokemon, when you're taking the brunt force of a lot of these strong attacks. Status moves are really good. There's not a lot of reliable ways of sleeping, and obviously poisoning a Pokemon is kind of dangerous to do, so you don't want to rely on that. But Ampharos will definitely carry you through the majority of the game. It's good in quite a few boss battles. It does get walled off by Dakim pretty hard. And Pokemon with Lightning Rod also kind of walled off. So Ian is actually A tier. Because it does struggle against a lot of the boss battles. But other than that, it's a fantastic Pokemon. Next, Misdreavus. I'm gonna put it in B. I'm gonna put it in B there we go. I'm gonna put it in B. The AI is retarded in this game, and a lot of the times it will hit Misdreavus with a move that doesn't affect it. It isn't affected by fighting moves, normal moves, or ground moves due to Levitate. Unfortunately, ghost moves are still physical in this generation, which means Shadow Ball is kind of nerfed a little bit. It has a rough attack stat, and that Psy Beam, it doesn't hurt as much as you think it does. However, it does get immediate access to Confuse Ray. As you saw, it was a very good nuisance of a Pokemon, and Shadow Ball does enough damage to where it can be useful. However, it's not going to be carrying your squad in any way, shape, or form. It's going to be a good support, a good nuisance Pokemon, nothing more, nothing less. Quagsire. I'm going to put this is definitely going to go here. I love Quagsire so much. I think this is probably the best water type Pokemon you can get up until Suicune. Obviously, Suicune's a legendary, so it's different levels. But you get a lot with Quagsire. You get Surf, which is amazing. Yes, it's a physical type Pokemon, but it's more of a balanced type Pokemon than anything. So it's not too detrimental that it gets Surf. It gets access to Earthquake through its own move, or through its own move set at level 43, I think. You can teach it Amnesia. It gets access to Yawn, which is one of the most reliable ways of sleeping Pokemon. And just like Flaffy, it can be instrumental in your playthrough. One thing that's holding it back, like I said, the abundance of water Pokemon just makes it to where there's a lot of Pokemon that you can also fill in that spot. However, if you pick Quagsire as your water type, you will not be disappointed. Alright, next is, where's Mr. Noctowl? Noctowl. It's going to go in C. I don't like Noctowl that much. It's not a terrible Pokemon. It's very specially tanky. But it just doesn't have anything to really offer. That special attack stat just isn't put to use in this game. You get Hypnosis, and it gets Steel Wing and Fly, so it gets cool moves to use, but it doesn't have the stats to back it up. It's gonna constantly, I feel, just be on the field, not doing anything while your other Pokemon are getting whittled away. Yeah, just really not much more to say other than that. Slugma, this thing's trash. The only thing good about it is it literally gets that move, Flamethrower, the move that Typhlosion needs. If Typhlosion got it, it would be a whole lot better. But unfortunately, this piece of crap gets it. When it evolves into Metcargo, it gets weaknesses to like 5 or 6 different common types. It's slow as all hell. And really, your only chance of survival is if it gets hit by a physical move that isn't ground and somehow survives it enough to use one flamethrower. Yeah, it's not good. If you're banking on a fire type, pick Quilava. If you're not picking Quilava for whatever reason, just skip on this. And we're gonna put Skip Plume right there next to it. Why did I put Skip Plume there next to it? Because I'm 99% sure it cannot learn Spore in this game. I think it's Sleep Powder instead, which is an alright sleep move. You know, actually, for that reason alone, I'm gonna put it higher than Noctowl because I think Sleep Powder is better than Hypnosis. But other than that, it just has nothing to offer. Even fully evolved, it's a fast tank, which is cool. But once you put Pokemon to sleep, you need to do damage. Or it would be nice to do damage or some farther setup. Okay, next up is Furry, Mr. Furry. I'm gonna put it at the bottom of B. It's okay. It's adorable. It gets Strength and Iron Tail, which are cool moves. Strength is good for the normal stab on it, and it has enough attack to where it do damage. Has good speed to where it out speed things, but I feel like this thing's main problem is it's gonna really start falling off near end game, to where it's gonna be dropping into C tier. Because there are much better normal options. Like I look words, Ricky. I feel like Furret is the ultimate placeholder Pokemon because it's literally holding the place of a Pokemon, or for a Pokemon you're gonna get later on. So early game is good, but then it falls off. So I'm gonna drop it down to C. All right, Yama. Things trash. Things trash. I don't even know what word just came out of my mouth. Thing is garbage. Stats are garbage. Ability's cool. Doesn't get its evolution though, so it's just trash. Next up would be, I know we're in the cave. Oh, no. Actually, we are going to talk about Remoraid. I am gonna put Remoraid right here. Now, the meme behind it is you get it at level 20. It's not gonna be useful until maybe if you put every single ounce of your soul into training this thing when you first get it, which is constantly switching it out in battles, which would be tedious as all hell. I don't recommend doing it. But if that's the route you go, um, it's it could be used for Dakem, but it's pretty much going to be used for after that when you get the XP share and you can really train it up. Octillery is a very strong, balanced Pokemon that can learn a whole lot of moves that you wouldn't think it can learn. Like, it can learn Flamethrower. Can you imagine an Octillery with a Flamethrower? It gets Bubble Beam, Side Beam, and Aura Beam once you purify it, so it has access to 3 very good coverage moves. Its stats all around besides speed, very good. Very good. It takes a little bit of love to get there. Mantine, we know how I feel about this thing. I thought it was trash. It's actually not trash. It's very, 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 very tanky. A very good support Pokemon. You can give it Confuse Ray. You can give it Toxic. I ran Bubble Beam and Blizzard on mine. I think Blizzard is better than Wing Attack because its attack stat is absolute garbage. So we're not even going to talk about that. But other than that, I think Mantine is an extremely good Pokemon that will help you in a lot of battles. It struggles against Ian for obvious reasons, but I think it does very well against every other boss battle. Next up, Quillfish. And Quillfish is also going to go in B tier. Now, it has a scary high, well, not scary high attack stat, but it has a very good attack stat, very good speed stat, a really good ability too in Poison Point. Its problem is the moves are dog shit on this thing. You get Pin Missile and Poison Sting, and I hate to say it, but until you get Sludge Bomb and Shadow Ball, it's borderline useless. However, when you do catch it, basically it could take you through Mire B. This Pokemon walls off Mire B's team so well, and if you go into Hyper Mode Shadow Rush, you get through Mire B with absolute ease. There's nothing Mire B can do to you. It will struggle against Dakem. It probably will struggle against Scrub's team. Actually, I think you'll be fine with Scrub's team, but lack of moves is the thing that holds this thing back. Actually, I'm gonna put it in C tier because if you don't teach it those moves, it is hot garbage. It is very, very poor. All right, next up is Mr. Meditite. It's gonna go to B. I've always really wanted to use Medichan. I did use a Medichan in my Brilliant or the Diamond and Pearl remix, whatever it's called, Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. I used a Medichan in that game, and it wasn't it. Like, I thought it was gonna be so much cooler with the pure power double attack stat, but I don't know. It just always fell behind, and I hate to say it, in this game, it's really only gonna have fighting moves. In that game, I had the punches and all that stuff. Another thing that holds this thing back is the fact that it's a psychic type, which means unless you're running 2 psychic types, you're not going to have Espeon. Espeon's the best Pokemon in this game, in my opinion. If you're not going to run Espeon for this thing, you're tripping because you also can't run this thing. You also can't run this thing. Just a lot of really good Pokemon you can't run because of this thing's typing. It's fine if you do use it, but I think there are just better options. Okay, next up. Dunsparce. Yeah. I mean, okay, and realistically it goes here, but just for argument's sake, it goes here. It's not good. The stats aren't good. The moves aren't good. Glare's cool, but yeah, it's not that good of a Pokemon, unfortunately. Mr. Swablu. I think Swablu's also going to go in C tier. This is one of the only dragon types you can catch in the game, but Altaria is one of the worst dragon types, unfortunately. One of my favorite dragon types, but unfortunately it's one of the worst dragon types in the game. It's a defensive dragon that doesn't really get that good of moves to go with its stats. Just not really much you can do with it. It wants to be an attacker with defensive stats, basically, in this game. And then after that, I believe would be Sudowoodo. And Sudowoodo's honestly kind of good. I'm gonna put it here because it is a very strong Pokemon. However, it runs into the problem of being very weak to a lot of boss battles. Being a rock type, it's weak against Earthquake. It's weak against Ian's team. It's weak against Meyer B's team, ironically. However, on the physical side of things, it is an absolute monster. 100 attack, 115 defense, good enough HP to withstand attacks. The special defense, unfortunately, is pretty low, and that's where a lot of its weaknesses stem from, so it's going to struggle there. It's still a pretty decent choice. However, if you do want to use a Sudowoodo, this would definitely be the game to use one. Hitmontop. I think Hitmontop is one of the better fighting types in this game. I think Hitmontop is actually one of the better Pokemon in this game. It has really good defenses and attack stats, which is kind of weird because it has no HP. However, it has a good enough speed stat to where you'll be fine, where you'll be going first. Triple Kick's a really cool move. You can give it Brick Break. Unfortunately, this thing is going to suffer from the same thing as Hariyama. You're basically going to be using fighting moves. However, this one comes equipped with Intimidate, which is one of the best abilities in the game, and especially for double battles, lowering the attack stat by 1 phase on top of those high defenses. It could probably tank a hit, maybe even 2. Maybe even 2. Entei? Entei is going to go in A tier. I'm going to put it right here. The reason why Entei goes in A tier is because Entei is a physical attacking fire type. And as we all know, it suffers from Flareon syndrome. Not as bad as Flareon, but it suffers from, it doesn't get the moves to support its stats. Yes, it has 90 special attacks, so Fire Blast will be fine on it. Special attack moves will be fine on it. But as I've learned, fire types are not that good in Colosseum, to be just frank with you. They're not that good. Obviously, Entei is a legendary. It's going to be a strong member on your team. But as a legendary, you should be stronger than a Quagsire and a Flaffy or a Ampharos. So that's where that goes. Next up, is it Ledian next? Is it Ledian? Oh, no. Wait, I miss... Wow, I am sorry, guys. I forgot about Plusle. And... like... Let's talk about this for a little bit. So, Plusle. Alright. I'm looking for the bio real quick. Just want to get the stats right. So, Plusle. You get this thing at level 13, and you're going to think, oh, this thing's dog shit. It's not dog shit. It gets Thunder Wave. It gets Baton Pass. It gets Agility. It gets access to Thunder. You put it on a Rain team, which is okay. That's actually the stipulation I'm gonna use to keep it out of S tier. You gotta put it on a Rain team. You put it on a Rain team, and you're gonna have a very fast Thunder spamming Pokemon that is gonna be over leveled. Now you're thinking like, oh, it's level 13 when all my other Pokemon are like mid 30s, right? Well, that doesn't matter because of the boosted XP rates. Also, I believe Plusle is one of those Pokemon that you don't need a lot of XP to level up. As you guys saw in the series, like Heracross and Mantine had almost like 100,000 more XP than some of my Pokemon by the end of the game, but every Pokemon was the same level. Because some Pokemon need more XP to level up. It's the unfortunate truth. It's why Tyranitar is such a pain in the ass to get, because it takes so much freaking XP to get. Plusle will be, if you give it the XP share, and because you get it after Meyer B. So if you take it through Mount Battle with XP share on, you go through Dakem, and then if you go through Pirate Colosseum or Miracle B's little challenge run, it's gonna be on par, if not higher level than your team, and it's gonna easily out level a lot of your team. The Baton Pass Agility combo can also be crucial if you're running like a slow Pokemon like Makahita, like Sudowoodo, just any Quagsire, anything slow, it could really, really help in the support wise. It could Thunder Wave, which is iconic for Shadow Pokemon hunting games, and it has a strong move on top of an 85 special attack stat, which is good enough to do a ton of damage with a Stab Thunder. I recommend Plusle a lot if you want to use Plusle in a game. Unfortunately, there is code in the game that you were supposed to get a Minun, which would have been perfect. This would have been the perfect game to have Plusle and Minun. Fortunately, they scrapped that. Honestly, I could see why, because I think it would have been broken. Like, I honestly think that would have been broken, but we'll never know. We'll never know, and it's so unfortunate. And next up is Ledian. I thought this thing was good because it was the only baton pass agility user, but Plusle basically kicked it down to D tier. This thing is trash. This thing has garbage stats, garbage moves. It looks garbage, garbage typing, garbage abilities. It's trash. It's trash. Suicune, however, is not trash. Suicune is everything I said good about Feraligatr and more. Unfortunately, it doesn't get access to a lot of coverage moves. You're really only going to be surfing, Aurora Beaming, or Blizzarding with this thing. However, its defenses are fantastic to where it's never going to faint. You put Rain Dance up, which it naturally gets, and you surf things, and they're not going to survive, and you're going to be taking out 2 Pokemon at the same time. It's a very strong legendary, and like I said, water types are probably the best typing in the entire game, in my honest opinion. If you have a different opinion, please let me know, but I honestly think water types are the best type in the game. Maybe not currently, but back in Gen 3, Gen 4, like that time frame, I definitely think water types were the best all-around type in the game. Gligar. Yeah, this thing is cool. It's such a cool Pokemon, but it suffers from the Quillfish syndrome where you need to give it a lot of help for it to be good. Also, that weakness to water type is pretty rough. Also, it takes neutral damage from grass types, so Dakim can easily mess with it. Unless you give it Earthquake, which it has 75 attack, you'd want to give Earthquake to something else. Like, even Croconaw, I believe Typhlosion has better attack. I think even Meganium has a better attack stat than Gligar, so that just, yeah. Unfortunately, Gligar is not the best of options. It's such a cool Pokemon, but not one of the best options. Stantler. I like Stantler a lot. I like it right there, though. It's basically your replacement for Furret. This thing can, however, be used in almost every single situation because it has a nice attack stat and special attack stat. It gets Intimidate, which is one of the best abilities in the game. You can give it Thunder. I think it can learn Solar Beam too. I'm gonna put in the video if it can't, but I think it can. So it can be used on a Sunny Day team. It can be used on a Rain Dance team. It could be just good. It could be a good bring in and intimidate Pokemon, hit it hard with Takedown. However, Takedown just doesn't one-hit things. It'll two-hit things, but it won't one-hit things. That's the one gripe I have about Stantler. Very good Pokemon, though. Definitely recommend using it if you're looking for a normal type. If you're using Furret, this is your next step up. Next up after that, I'm gonna be honest, Sneasel's hot freaking garbage. It is real. I think I skipped past one. We'll go back to that. Its attack stats amazing, but its typing is awful. It gets no good stab move. It gets no good moves, except for Screech is probably its best move. You're going to have to give it TMs to make it even viable on your team, and at that point, you might as well just give it to Pokemon that would take stab from it. Like, you're going to give Brick Break to something else that would take stab from it, or you're going to give Earthquake to I don't think it can even learn Earthquake. If this thing can learn Earthquake, I'll be shocked, but, you know, honestly, I won't. But, yeah, unfortunately, it is hot garbage. Piloswine, I'm gonna put this in B. I've never used a Piloswine. I'm just kind of looking at its stats, and it's basically a strong Earthquake user. It has soft. I mean, obviously you catch it for the soft sand, but it gets Stab Earthquake, which is really good. I think Quagsire is a better Earthquake user. However, if you want to use a Piloswine, it's here for you. Its special attack stat is not the best though, and it's really just on the physical side of things with a typing that is weak to fighting moves and also weak to a couple of special moves that will one-hit it. Just painfully average. Very, very painfully average. Okay, next up on our list, this little, ugh, ugh, ugh. Yeah, yeah, it's bad. It's bad Pokemon. It has Baton Pass. Pretty sure it gets agility too, so it has that going for it. But I mean, that didn't get this thing very far at all. Not much to say here. Not a good Pokemon. Murkrow, it's better than these Pokemon, but it's also not good. It has good attack stats, but has absolutely no defenses, and its attack stats aren't good enough to justify for the no defenses. So that's where I'm going to leave that. Fortress is a very good Pokemon now. I'm going to put it about right here with the tanks. This isn't, by the way, the order these guys in is not exact. I'm trying to kind of make it exact, but like there's a couple I forgot, like I don't know, for example, yeah, just forget I even said that. I'm trying to keep it in order as best I can, but it's not exact in order. Just kind of look at the tiers. Anyway, Fortress, extremely good tank. You give it Toxic, it'll do good things. You give it Earthquake, it'll actually do pretty good things. It has Explosion, so if you're running a Pokemon like Sudowoodo or Mischievous, something that could tank an Explosion really well, you can run that. It has Protect, so you can put Earthquake on another Pokemon and just have this thing, you know, take a hit or whatever. Really good tank. Best tank in the game, actually, so there's that. And yeah, just not enough good things I could say about it. This thing, however, is garbage. It gets Sludge Bomb, and that's where the good ends. Actually, Sludge Bomb alone puts it right here, but it is just hot garbage. It's Ariados. Nobody cares about it. Granbull. Now, Granbull takes the Intimidate ability that Stantler introduced and took it one farther with a freaking massive attack stat. However, it doesn't have the speed stat. This is where one of those agility baton pass spammers could actually really come into play. However, it gets strength. You give it Earthquake. You give it Brick Break. It has 120 attack. It's going to do really good things for you. Not much more I really need to say about that. Honestly, it's mid. It's mid. You got to give it Earthquake to give it a good physical move. If you're not going to give it Earthquake, you need to give it the Sunny Day Fire Blast Solar Beam combo that Dakem uses, because this thing just... Every single time I've used it, it has disappointed me, and that's because its stats are not supported by its moves. Unfortunately, Dragon type is a special move. 80 special attack is respectable, but it's not enough to take a 60 power move and do wonders with it, unfortunately. I'm gonna put it at the top. It's literally the top of B tier. It is borderline A tier. I want it to be A tier. You probably got to put it on a team with the right situation, which is why I'm keeping it out of A tier. But unfortunately, like I said, Vibrava is just always disappointed me. Flygon's always disappointed me. And unfortunately, Flygon's one of my favorite Pokemon design-wise, so it's really hard to say that. But I've just never had good things with a Flygon. Like, it's always just been disappointing. However, Raikou is absolutely amazing. This is everything you want out of an electric type. It's fast, it hits hard, it has thunder, it has rain dance. It's just a powerhouse of a Pokemon. Actually, I'm gonna be honest. I think I'm gonna put it down to A tier because it doesn't get Thunder Wave. So really, all it's good for is just dealing damage. Which again, it's a legendary, but you got to think more about just winning battles in this game. You got to think about utility use. And that is definitely very, very important. Now, this is the part of the tier list where I'm actually going to start taking into consideration how far you are in the game before you get these Pokemon. It's not going to affect it majorly, but for some, if you're wondering why their ranking isn't as high as it should be, that's the reason why. So we're going in. We're going to start with Delibird. Obviously, it is S tier. It is the best Pokemon in the game. It's so overpowered that they had to give it a move that could potentially heal Pokemon. It just... You should never use this thing because it is so good and so dangerous that it's just going to make the rest of the game easy. Sunflora, it's mid. It's very mid. And by mid, I mean it's below mid. It's kind of dog shit. You gotta have Sunny Day up to make it even remotely useful. It has such a slow speed stat that it's going to go last in every single turn. And it literally has Sunny Day Solar Beam combo, so it's telling you what it wants it to do. The special attack stat's good enough to make Solar Beam powerful, but that's your gimmick. That's your entire gimmick is Sunny Day Solar Beam spamming, and that's not enough to make a Pokemon good in my eyes. Heracross, it is so... You guys saw firsthand how powerful it was, and yes, my Heracross fainted a ton. However, I put it in a lot of bad situations. I put it in a very large amount of bad situations. The one thing, I can't even take it away from, late game, a lot of Pokemon come carrying Aerial Ace. A lot of Pokemon come carrying Aerial Ace, and that is the bane of this thing's existence. However, you get Brick Break, you get Mega Horn, and you give it Earthquake, and it is going to go in almost every single battle with one thing in mind: making other Pokemon faint. This is probably my biggest reach, I think, for a ranking. I could see people putting in A tier, nothing lower than A tier. If you put this thing in B tier, you're on you're on something, dude. But Heracross is just it's a Heraboss. It's literally a Heraboss. Skarmory. It's gonna go in A tier. If you got it earlier, though, I could see this thing being S tier. It has an extremely high attack or defense stat, good enough special defense, good enough attack to make use of Drill Peck and Steel Wing. It has pretty good immunities. Just overall, really good, strong Pokemon. This thing could be the thing that kind of carries your team at the very end if you need something that's just immune to a lot of Pokemon. Whitney's Milk Tank. It's going to go in B tier just for the fact that you get it so late that you're not really going to use it, except if you put it on your team right then and there. It is pretty much Stantler without the special attack, but more defense. So your combos are going to be Body Slam or Rollout, but you're going to be able to tank a lot more things. So if you're looking for that in a Pokemon, which in double battles is pretty useful, it would be pretty good. However, you get it late, which is unfortunate. Houndoom, bottom of A tier, because I can't put it any lower than A tier without feeling absolutely, like, horrible. It is the best fire type in this game, in my opinion. Flamethrower, 110 special attack, 95 speed. I think it gets Crunch, too, which is special. So it gets Stab on two very strong moves that can honestly very easily sweep Evis, or help sweep Evis. It'll be good against his Scizor, it'll be good against his Slowking. Slowking you have to be a little safe about, but it could do a lot of good things against a lot of very strong Pokemon at the end. Absol, I'm going to put it at the top of B. Reason being because it does not gain a lot of... actually, no. I'm going to put it mid-A because Swords Dance is just overpowered. You get a Swords Dance off with 130 attack, it's game over for a lot of Pokemon. So, unfortunately, you get it late, but Yeah, it's still a very, very, very good Pokemon. And actually, now that I'm looking at this, I think no, we'll keep that. We'll keep that. Tropius, I think Tropius is just bad. You get it late, doesn't really do anything good. It's only good for being an HM slave. There's no HMs in this game, therefore it's trash. Metagross is S tier Pokemon. Um, yes, you get it extremely late. However, this could be the ticket to beating Evis. If you literally need anything, you need a tank, it's your tank. You need a special attacker, it's there. You need a physical attacker, it's there. You need something to do anything, you grab yourself a Metagross and it will do that to perfection. Tyranitar, this is about to piss a lot of people off. Put it in B. Why? Because Dark type is a special type in this game, which although it has a good special attack, it doesn't have that 134 attack going behind it. And mostly, Sandstream. I hate Sandstream as an ability because you're generally going to maybe be running a ground type and a steel type. At the absolute best scenario, you're going to have 3 Pokemon that's going to resist the Sandstream ability. The rest of your team is going to get hit by Sandstream. It's going to make your battles go twice as long, which is annoying, especially if you're doing Mount Battle. Do not use Tyranitar. Your battles are going to take forever. Don't do that to yourself. Obviously, it's the ultimate Shadow Pokemon, which is ultimate Master Ball fodder, in my opinion. But it's rough to use. It's rough to use. I mean, obviously it's going to do good things, but I don't like Sandstream on double battles or a team that's not built around that. Next up is Ursaring. It's going to go into B tier. If you got this thing earlier, it would be S tier. Unfortunately, you get it very late. I'm going to put it into B tier because it's a very good Pokemon, but you're not going to use it unless you put it on your team and you make it to where you use it. Smeargle, D tier. It's a shiny troll. Fuck this thing. Abilities aren't good. Yes, you can do whatever you want move-wise with it, but, like, who cares when the abilities suck? And, like, I don't think it takes that level of skill to do well in this game. Like, I know I did not play the best to my abilities, but yeah, you don't need to go to this level of desperation. Shuckle, it's the ultimate tank, but that's really it. And again, you get it late. You're not going to use it. You're going to throw Toxic on it, and that's about it. I don't think you even get substitute or like moves that really help Shuckle become like Shuckle. So there's that. Togekiss, bottom of C. It's all right, but it's literally the last Shadow Pokemon you're going to get. It's level 20, so it makes it almost impossible to use it for Mount Battle if you wanted to use it. The Serene Grace ability is cool on top of the fact it can learn a lot of good moves, but just you can't use it. And Ho-Oh is a legendary, but it's going to just go in B because, like, I say you're not going to use this thing. You're really not. You're going to transfer this thing. And you know what? Actually, no. Screw this thing. Screw this thing because you're not going to use it. You can't. It's not even worth transferring because it doesn't have Sacred Fire. And you have to go through Mount Battle to get it. Which is literally just a troll because Mount Battle kind of fucking sucks. Mount Battle was literally not fun until the last 20 battles when the teams actually started using strategy. But yeah, that's the tier list. It's pretty balanced, I think. Got a heavy thing in B, heavy thing in A, but a lot less in S, and we got it's a pretty well balanced curve, I think. There are definitely some Pokemon that could slide up, slide down. I didn't do like the ton of research. Like there might be a couple of move variations I'm missing, or a couple of situations I'm missing with some Pokemon, but I kind of did this off of my previous playthroughs of this game. I played through this game about 3 times in the last 2 years. So I don't want to say I know a lot, but I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of what works well, what doesn't work well in this game. But yeah, feel free to agree or disagree in the comments. Let me know, like, memory you have with one of these Pokemon, why you think it deserved to be higher. Like, tell me how, freaking, I don't know, Sneasel one hit Raikou or something and won you the battle against Ian when you were supposed to lose your Nuzlocke, or I don't know. Tell me how freaking I don't know. Tell me some cool Pokemon Colosseum stories. I love hearing about your guys' adventures. I love learning new stuff about this game. I love um going with people about how good or bad Pokemon is for what reasons, because I'm a very understanding person to where, like, if you give me a reason why a Pokemon is good, I'll be like, you know what, yeah, I see that. I get you. I feel you, dude. And yeah, who knows? Maybe this tier list is all wrong. Maybe it's right. It's my opinion, so it's right in my mind, and that's all I care about. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this helped. If anyone's looking to play Colosseum, I hope this kind of helps you get an idea of what Pokemon could really be useful in your adventure and what couldn't. But yeah, and this is it for Pokemon Colosseum until I make more videos on it, which I probably will eventually do in the future because it's one of my favorite games. However, it's me signing off. I'll see y'all next time for whatever I upload next.